This is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with us again Tommy Sheehan, who's the CEO and founder of Red Oxygen. Tommy, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Doug.
Well, we're going to be talking about something that's in everyone's life. We're going to be talking about texting and SMS. We're going to be doing a three-part series, small series, on texting and regulation, what everyone needs to know now, especially here in the MSP community and the cloud community. So we're going to dive right into that. Tommy, first of all, what is Red Oxygen?
Well, we are the world's first application-to-person text messaging company. So we allow businesses to text enable their applications either from a CRM perspective or buy one of our off-the-shelf components from Outlook, Gmail, SharePoint, and so forth. And we act as a managed service provider for all those ISVs struggling to deal with the new regulations with the Campaign Registry from a compliance perspective, a billing perspective, and a delivery perspective.
Now, as the saying goes, you were present at the creation. You were actually there when all this got started.
Well, I fell in love with text messaging early on. I was working on an IVR project for T-Mobile, not T-Mobile, but Foxtel in Australia. And they were spending $8 to send a notification saying, hey, we're cutting your cable off. And I was like, why can't you text them, right? And I came up with this idea. And in the US, we were a US IVR company. Text messaging was not available, did not work, was not part of the conversation in the US for about a decade or so.
So what is the Campaign Registry?
So the Campaign Registry is a consortium of the CTIA, the members, the carriers, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, that are now set up to regulate to stop spam. That's the intent. And they are requiring any application to person messaging platform to be registered. And when you register your application, you have to register who are you texting, what is your EIN or DBA number, what is the content of your message, and why are you texting. And then they're vetted by third parties, and after you are vetted and approved, you receive a campaign registry ID. And based on the volumes of messages, you pay a monthly campaign fee and a per intercarrier fee per message to the carriers. And that's usually paid through your CPaaS provider and so forth.
So what's the problem? That sounds like a great idea.
It is good. The intent is good. The problem is it's very onerous on, let's say you've written some software for dance studios or home health services, right? And you've got 1,000 home health agencies throughout the United States. You have to register each one of these entities, right? It even could be a one-man home health care provider. And you have to register their content, and that's a very onerous process. You got to communicate with all your customers, and then you might have been giving these text messages away for free, but you don't know how many text messages this home health care provider sent versus this one. And then there's different billing, right? So one may spend $5 a month, another one may spend $25 a month with the text messaging. And if you're sending a flat fee per month for the software, how are you going to manage that? So either you're going to build telecommunications software into your platform to manage this, or you can partner with like a Red Oxygen that can help you with the billing and the compliance and the delivery. And we're coming out with AI, so making sure your message content is what you're approved for. And so if there's any variances in your message content, we'll notify the subscriber of the variance to either start another campaign and to make sure they're compliant, because we don't want your message traffic blocked, which is very scary, or we also don't want you to get fined potentially up to $10,000 per text message.
So Tommy, help connect the dots for me. It sounds like this is sort of really a carrier issue, but if I'm an MSP or a channel partner, or even maybe I'm an enterprise reader or watcher of TR, how does this all impact me?
Well, if your traffic gets blocked, let's say you're a home health care provider and you're sending out text message notifications to say, hey, hey, we're running late. We didn't give your mother her insulin shot. What's the travesty? Or you're a school, right? Hey, your kid's sick and the school nurse texts you from their platform, and she says, "Hey, pick up your daughter." She doesn't get picked up, right? The implications are going to be profound, and they're not even going to know that they're happening. One of the problems is there's a communication issue. The problem we see in this space is the majority of the CPaaS providers have been selling to the developer. The developer doesn't have an interest in compliance or billing, right? They had to get it working, they're off, and they're moving on to another project. So once traffic starts getting blocked or fines start happening, we're going to see a major catastrophe in this space.
Hmm. And conversely, is this an opportunity, or is this some a calling maybe for the MSP community?
Well, we all need to work together. So if anybody is listening to this and they support ISVs, right? Especially in the small business community, you know, the big corporate users that are sending millions of messages. Like I had lunch with the director of Lyft. Um, they're fine. They've got the resources to manage this, to handle the billing and so forth. It's all the small and medium businesses that are sending text messages from their applications that are most at risk, that don't have the capacity, nor do they want to spend their resources staying compliant. These variables are changing on a monthly basis, right? They were charging $50 for a setup fee, then they removed it. Then the per campaign fees were $1.50, and then they were $2. And now T-Mobile even wants to fine people $250 if they don't use their network every 60 days. Well, no business wants to manage this. This is a nightmare for businesses. So we see a huge opportunity in managed service provider world.
Well, we're now in the middle of a three-part series here. We're going to be exploring what the solution to that nightmare is in our next one. We talk a little bit more about Red Oxygen's approach and how they can help the MSP communities help their customers. And our third part is going to be a little bit more public-facing, public interest, maybe what is to be done, sort of rallying the cloud community to work on this issue. But briefly, Tommy, as we close up this part, what is the Red Oxygen approach?
Well, we work with managed service providers to say, okay, hey, we've had one that has, they sell to universities, and universities are very risk adverse. And then they're like, hey, we don't want to mess with this. Here's our customer base. We presented at their users conference. So they've been saying, hey, any of their users that want to implement text messaging, talk to Red Oxygen. So we work with the universities to make sure their message is compliant, make sure they're registered properly, they have the correct campaign registry ID, and then we bill them for their usage, their fees, whether it's a setup fee, a vetting fee, a per month campaign fee, and traffic fees.
Tommy, I really want to thank you for joining us today. I hope everybody joins us in the next two parts of this three-part series. Tommy, where can we learn more about Red Oxygen?
Just go to www.redoxygen.com, or you can send me an email at tom@redoxygen.com.
Tommy, thank you again. I'm going to see you in part two.
All right, thanks.